Dzień dobry. Assalamu alaikum. Ciao. Konnichiwa. Guten Morgen. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you today? It's Ken at 10. Hope you're well. If you haven't been here before, well, thanks for joining us. And if you're back, well, thanks for rejoining us. We are James Alexander, estate agents, and we broadcast all about the property market every day, live at 10 o'clock. And it's Ken at 10, because I'm Ken, and it's 10. So I hope you're well. We're doing well today. We've got a beautiful, stonking day here in southwest London. It is blue skies, those white fluffy clouds, everything you can want. Some little shadows just cast over the road here. Everyone out there in sunglasses looking cool. It's great, except for one thing, the pollen. If you're like me, you understand. Hence the pollen behind me. Goodness me, it's a bit high today and struggling a bit. Eye drops, nasal stuff, all sorts going on for me. Hope you're okay. A few bits in the news today on the property side. The UK's biggest property sales boom in 10 years ahead of the stamp duty deadline. And the headline is, this is reported in the Express, the Independent, the Sun and the Times. More than 700,000 home sales across Britain are nearing completion. 700,000. I wonder what the actual number was. It's good to put a number on that for the first time. And they're marking the biggest conveyancing logjam in more than a decade. I'm not sure. I would say, actually, that's probably wrong. I'd say it's the biggest conveyancing logjam ever. I've never known one like this before, even going back to the 80s. Old as I am, I can remember such things. And this is certainly the biggest logjam I've ever seen. And of the 704,000 sales going through, 220,000 were marked as sold between July last year and February this year in England that are yet to complete. The current average time from sale agreed to completion is 4 months. 4 months. That's incredible, isn't it? That's a huge amount of time. I would say that in my experience, varies massively between leasehold and freehold property. Leasehold property, obviously, there's more information to glean. Sometimes managing agents can be difficult. Sometimes the information from the managing agent is incomplete. Sometimes the vendors haven't been properly schooled by their solicitors to pay for those inquiries prior, so that when the solicitor requests them, that information is ready and provided rapidly by the other side. You can often circumvent this by calling the managing agents yourself if you're selling a leasehold property and just saying, what's the cost for your pack? Here's your money. Please respond when my solicitor requests it and send me a pack in the meantime, which they will do. And it can really shortcut things. So handy little hint from Ken for the day. You can have that one for free. Apart from that, Bank of England's chief economist, Andy Haldane, has said the UK's housing market is on fire, with a rise in prices likely to worsen pre-existing wealth inequalities. Well, I think that's right. We've said for a while that, pretty much over the pandemic, what we've seen is the haves and have-nots, and the division of those two broaden, because the poorer end of the market were more likely to have gig economy workers, people working in the service sector, and they're the most impacted by this. And of course, if you've been furloughed, it's also very, very difficult to get a mortgage. So you can understand that. His comments came after figures from the Halifax revealed the average house price went up by £3,000 in May, taking the average property price to a record high of £261,743. The price spike has been driven by the stamp duty holiday, as we know, combined with the lack of supply and increased demand, with more savings from the haves over the lockdown period. He added, inevitably, we'll see some sort of relentless rise in house prices relative to incomes that we haven't seen over the past 30 to 40 years. Well, that's a concession from the Bank of England. Normally, they're saying the opposite, aren't they? That, house prices are depressed and going to be more depressed. But, they've admitted that it's happening. As far as the most affordable areas to buy in London are concerned, there's been data from Ellis & Co, which found that Thamesmead is the cheapest place to live. And there you've got an average price of £275,194. That's nearly 50,000 less than the next most affordable area, Lower Edmonton. South East London is home to 5 of the 10 most affordable areas in London. To buy a home, all coming in at £381,000. Meanwhile, 8 out of the top 10 most expensive areas are located in the west and southwest of London, with an average price in these areas coming in at 1.56 million. It's a report from City AM. Asian buyers are back in the frame again as well, and back in the news. New research by defect management film firm BuildScan has found that foreign investors from most Eastern Asian countries are increasingly investing in London's new build market in the wake of the pandemic. The founder and managing director, Harry Yates, said, despite the problems of the pandemic, we've continued to see a high degree of interest in the London market from East Asia. This has been driven in part by factors such as BNO visa availability, and we know all about that with the Hong Kong Chinese, as well as the opportunity to cash in on a stamp duty saving. Well, I think both those things are true, but I think we'll see the Hong Kong migration increase over the next few months, and that will also help to underline and sustain the current property market, as will all the first-time buyer deals out there. I was chatting to a client yesterday when I was on evaluation, saying that their daughter was thinking of buying, and I was saying I've never seen so many deals out there for first-time buyers. If you are capable of buying right now and you're in a good job, and the salary multiples work for you, this is not financial advice, but you can obtain multiples in your salary of 4.5 or 5.5 times your salary. And often there are other things such as Help to Buy, shared ownership schemes. There are all sorts of ways that you can get onto the property market now. So it's good news if you're a first-time buyer. The rates are quite good as well, quite competitive, not as competitive as we've bemoaned for some time as those of you with a much larger deposit. And given that the underwriting being done by the government is there, I think the lenders should be a bit more generous in the deals that they're giving to first-time buyers. But nonetheless, there's some reasonably good deals out there that will equate quite often to the same as the rental payment for many tenants. And this is quite a nice surprise for people for the first time looking at buying instead of renting, that actually the payments aren't that different. They're fairly equal in many cases. So worth checking that out if you are in the market for that. Apart from that, valuation slowed down a bit today, just the one today. Tomorrow we're in Streatham for our Homes Under the Hammer. Looking forward to that. That's a second look. We do two looks, one before the property is ready, when it's just come out the auction, to give an opinion on what we think it will be like in terms of price when it's done and what it's worth in its current condition. And tomorrow will be all about what they've done, having a look at that, and then saying what we think is good, what we think is bad, and what the current value is. Always fun to work with the Homes Under the Hammer team. It used to be a big team, 6 or 8 people, producers, people holding mics and cameras and everything else, and now it's just one, literally one. And you get the producer normally on a stick on an iPhone back in Scotland saying, "Hi Ken, how are you?" Really quite different. Not as much banter, obviously, with just the two of you, but still good fun. It's always a pleasure to meet with the guys and do that from Lion TV. So looking forward to that tomorrow. Apart from that, hope you have a fantastic day. Look after your family and your friends. We'll be back tomorrow with another Ken at 10. Until then, stay safe and well. Ciao.